Yes, I have done videos like this in the past, but I feel like I need to like constantly reiterate this. It's not actually just one person making this mistake. It's actually quite a lot of us enthusiasts. Like, I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion, but I'm just telling you objectively why you shouldn't just keep overstretching bus services for no good reason. At this point, even sending 506 to Tampines North, like let's say making it absorb 129 or something, is way more worth it, like just based on distance alone. I feel like a lot of you, when you guys suggest things, you don't even think about like distance or farebox recovery rate in this case. Like, look, the distance alone from Potong Pasir and Buangkok over here, even if I trace out NEL, this distance alone is like, okay, I'm not good at estimation, but it's like, it's almost the distance of like freaking PIE and then like this. This distance is like comparable to this distance. And because of that, when you talk about like this entire sector, you need to take this thing into consideration. Farebox recovery rate. That's what FRR means. And in this context alone, it doesn't matter if you make it a local service, you make it call all stops, or you make it like express. When I mean express, I mean like going up Upper Serangoon Viaduct, just like service 676. And in this context, either way, you are bound to just kill off the service and just let the FRR plummet off a cliff. Down the drain, whatever. I'm gonna give you guys another example. DTL. From like let's say Bukit Panjang to Newton and then to Orchard. I mean you change a train or Dhoby Ghat. Okay, maybe let's put Little India here as well. So you have downtown, north, south, northeast, as well as like from Stevens. Where is brown? Okay, I don't have brown here, but I'm just gonna pretend the orange is actually brown, okay? And then pretend that, not pretend, but like this is like inner Bukit Panjang, which means the BPLRT areas like Senja, Jelapang, Segar, Fajar, Bangkit, those areas. And it's also inclusive of block 270 and 223 Bukit Panjang Road, as well as Petir Road, Dairy Farm Road. Okay, so with MRT, this over here is an unpaid link. And you need to transfer from DTL to NSL, which is a pain in the ass. And then north-south line between Little India and Dhoby Ghat, it's quite crowded. And well, if you're going to Dhoby Ghat, you have to transfer at Little India, which is what I don't know. The transfer would just turn some people off. And then you can talk about Stevens. Yes, Stevens is a way better transfer, but it only takes you to Orchard. It doesn't take you to like Somerset or Dhoby Ghat. And what 190 and 972 gives is doorstep connection to places such as Tangs Plaza, Lucky Plaza, Maritas Mandarin, Concord Hotel. You know all these bus stops, as well as like Somerset Road as well. It's the same logic. Because DTL is, it was like a later addition, and then passengers for years have already been used to 190 and how efficient it is. And then in 2013 or something, there was the addition of 972. Back then, there was no 972M. But over the years, they have been accustomed to taking bus because it is way more efficient to take bus all the way to Orchard as compared to like you intercepting DTL at either Bukit Panjang, Cashew, or Hillview, whatever the case is. In essence, These two will never ever ever be rationalized because they completely outcompete DTL. And during the eves of public holidays or during public holidays alone, like the one that just passed, what's it called? National Day. I saw 190 literally. The buses were like bunching, and then the buses were like completely choked full past like 6:30 p.m. in the direction of like Choa Chu Kang. It was just choked full as the bus reached Whitley Road. A lot of idiots have been speculating that, oh my god, with the addition of Townsend East Coast Line, more people would be. What the fuck is that word again? I forgot. More people would be inclined to ditch 190 and 972 in favor of just taking the MRT and transferring 9,999 times because I love hot spoke. Well, the truth is, even 36 saw increase in demand because of TEL. Even 855 saw increase in demand because of TEL. The more MRT lines open, the patterns of the commuter patterns when it comes to like bus services, it might change, either for the worse or the better. But remember, with every new MRT opening, existing routes might actually get boosted because of unintentional hub spoke. Basically, it's you think the bus service might actually lose demand, but then in the end it actually gains demand because like new transfer possibilities have opened up, and then people are like, oh, this service became more useful, this service became more useful. And the truth is, at Stevens, a lot of people are like straight up changing to 190, and then at Newton, a lot of people are changing to 972M. At Stevens, 972M as well. The addition of Stevens, Newton, downtown line, and then as well as like TEL Stevens, the number of people transferring to 190 and 972 has increased. And this doesn't mean that like people going to Orchard are going to get down at Stevens and actually take Thompson East Coast Line and North South Line or what. I'm not talking about that. 190 and 972, they haven't really lost a lot of like existing demand because of the addition of Thompson East Coast Line. The passengers coming from Thompson East Coast Line or going to Thompson East Coast Line, they are new passengers. And then they just happen to be like, okay, 190 actually takes me to Stevens. That's really convenient. I don't have to take DTL. I can just take 190 from near my doorstep, either from Choa Chu Kang area, Teck Whye area, or Bukit Panjang area. They are like, okay, I need to get to TL, and I want to get to places like Great World. I want to get to places like Outram Park or like Shenton Way, Marina Bay. And then I was like, okay, 190 is useful. So I just take MRT to Stevens and then I change 190. It's very good. And because of that, the changing patterns of bus services are, the commuter patterns of bus services are constantly changing. And with the opening of MRT, some of these services that you think might actually get rationalized actually benefit from TEL. Like, this is literally one service that benefits from TEL. 972 and 972M literally benefit from having DTL and TEL at Stevens. Both of it. Both 972 and 972M. Okay, I know I sound like I might have sidetracked, but the reason why I want to use this as an example is because people have been used to 190 ever since the beginning of time, and people have been used to 972, even M, since they were first introduced. I can even say the beginning of time. And the thing is, if your MRT new route, like as an alternative, is considered inferior, obviously people wouldn't take the MRT. Those taking the MRT are those who realize that, okay, 190 and 972 have gained a new purpose, and I'm going to use that new purpose. And usually these people are the newer commuters, not the existing ones, okay? Now the same thing goes for this one. Currently, almost all people, they alight at Potong Pasir. And because they alight at Potong Pasir, they take NEL. Okay, what am I saying? I mean, like, just like the case of 190 and 972, this has been their route. And if they already get off at Potong Pasir, it doesn't matter how far you stretch like the service up north. Nothing will change. You're just causing this service to duplicate other existing services. In other words, people take this bus service to Potong Pasir and they prefer taking MRT. There is nothing wrong with this. I am a bus fan, but like, hey, in this context, there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. There is nothing you can do to make it so that they would stay on board the bus and not go down and change MRT. Like, if existing, if like present day, they already go down and change MRT, nothing you do will be able to get the same packs from MRT to stay on board said service. Not when you realize that this junction, Upper Serangoon Road and partly Brado Road, is extremely jam prone, especially during peak hours. And Upper Serangoon Road itself, like from St. Andrews, is already choked to death during peak hours. And then there is traffic coming from Upper Aljunied Road as well. So what makes you think that by overstretching this service, you would actually get demand from it? Like, they already don't. The reason why they go down and transfer NEL or other bus services like 107, 147 is that, I mean, more of like NEL in this case, is because they don't want to deal with traffic at this junction. And not just that, the traffic could literally stretch upwards to Upper Serangoon Road and up to like Hougang Avenue 2. Like, during peak hours, even like Kovan area could, I'm not saying it would, but even that area would get choked from all the vehicles exiting the viaduct. It's like you have vehicles coming from Boundary Road, you have vehicles coming from Upper Paya Lebar Road, you have vehicles coming from Yio Chu Kang Road, all piling up to Upper Serangoon Road northbound. Because of that, like, it just makes no fucking sense to keep overstretching your bus services for no reason. And not just that, even if NEL didn't exist, the existing buses alone would make such a service not worth it. Like, I mean, there is this thing, there is this thing, there is this thing to some extent, although I'm not really gonna say this one in this context. There is already this thing. 107 serves Upper Serangoon Road. This thing goes to Yio Chu Kang Road, Hougang Avenue 2, Hougang Avenue A, and then back to Upper Serangoon Road and then Hougang Central. And 107 goes inside like Hougang Avenue 2, 10, and yeah. So bearing that in mind, I'm not even talking about 82 yet, but 82 is basically from like this. And then yeah. That's 82. With existing services along this corridor, what makes you think you can send an express service already? There's already like express fare deterrence. It's not even like a trunk service or anything. It's an express service. What makes you think that despite, okay, regardless of this Upper Serangoon Road sector being local or express, like skip stop, it doesn't matter. You're like just simply duplicating 107 or like 147 depending on where you send it up to. 147 and 107 alone would make this service obsolete. And this service is also worsened by the jams along St. Andrews Road, Upper Serangoon Road, all the way to Kovan. And Hougang Avenue 2, if the traffic really persists. But realistically speaking, I think most of the traffic, they go onto like Tampines Road, and then Hougang Avenue 2 is like another kind of traffic, but whatever. And people often give the excuse that like, oh my god, this express service is meant to function as a MRT redundancy. Yes, during MRT breakdown, it can come in useful, but during, okay, let's say in a year, there are 365 days. Some years there is 366. But let's say an MRT disruption occurs like once or twice a year. So let's say it happens once a year in the most extreme case, like NEL, for example. So basically, during the 365 days, you are running an express service whose FRR is already pissed in the first place, and by overstretching it, by introducing even more DIT mileage, if you make it express, if you make it local, it's going to compete with 107 and 147. And people wouldn't even take this service because it's express. There's an express fare. It's not trunk. Even if you make it express, you're introducing a lot more dead mileage, and dead mileage is not good for a farebox recovery rate. This is why farebox recovery rate for neighborhood services doesn't matter if it's like trunk, doesn't matter if it's like a feeder. The farebox recovery rate is going to plummet off a cliff if you introduce a lot of sectors with dead mileage, like making it go Upper Serangoon Viaduct. I don't know how many fucking times I have to repeat this. You put express sector, for no reason, you're going to make FRR just plummet off a cliff. And yes, during this one exact day, yes, your FRR might be like, oh, I actually broke even with this service, but during the 365 days, the farebox recovery rate is gonna go down the drain! There is a reason why 107 or even 133, even though I don't really want to mention this in this context, there is a reason why 107 and 147, they stayed. And they didn't get rationalized by NEL or anything. I know that this one was because of complaints. They tried to rationalize it and then they decided not to. As an SBS, because of backlash, in the end, they gave up rationalizing this one. So now it's a permanent bus service, and thank God for that. But this service and this service, normally, they already get demand. During the 365 days that, again, using the same example, NEL doesn't even affect these two. Like, they already get demand on their own. So what makes you think that this bus service that is literally already carrying air past Potong Pasir would actually get demand for 365 days? And keep in mind, this fucking shit is like express fare. Obviously, when they see the express fare, they're like, oh, I will take this. I will take this. And for the stupid kids that say, at all costs, I want an express bus service from the west of Singapore to the northeast of Singapore, and I think 506 would be the service to offer connections like this. Well, idiots, next time you literally have Cross Island Line, just transfer at Clementi, and then you know what? It's much faster, just transfer to like Northeast Line anyway. I'm not saying that like you guys must take MRT in favor of bus. I'm just saying that this kind of stupid route would just become fucking obsolete by this MRT is such an advantageous route as compared to like this thing getting fucking stuck at PIE, getting stuck at St. Andrews Road, getting stuck at Upper Serangoon Road, getting stuck at Upper Serangoon Viaduct, getting stuck at Cove. I don't know, but like when you have a fucking route that gets stuck like this versus a clear path for 365 days, assuming that in 1 year, CRL only breaks down one time. So for 365 days, obviously this is the more superior route. And I think even the notification popped up because even the notification agrees that 506 to Buangkok is shit. So I'm just saying, simply, if you actually send an express service up like this, I'm sorry, years later, this route would render it obsolete. It would just render it obsolete. And when I say don't use a bus to do the MRT's job, I'm not even talking about rationalization. I'm saying when you want a connection from really far away to really far away, obviously you would take MRT if you want it fast. Obviously, if you want a doorstep bus ride, you could transfer buses. That's fine. Like you could take 165, then you could transfer to another bus. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There are exceptions like 161, 168, 858, 965, 969. Even if North Shore Line happens, it wouldn't take away demand from these services because these services are their own corridor. These services, they allow you to not take MRT basically, which is a good thing in that case. But unfortunately, in this context, MRT is just superior. And these aren't even doing the jobs of MRT or anything, because they have their own local sectors, doorstep. Like 161 has doorstep at Hougang, 168 has doorstep at Tampines and Bedok. 858 literally winds to Woodlands Avenue 4 and 9, and then there's like Sembawang, there's like Yishun Khatib, that's a doorstep sector. 965 and 969, they literally are doorstep along Woodlands Avenue 7, as well as Yishun Avenue 2. And then this one is doorstep at Yishun Avenue 7. This one is doorstep at Chongpang and Yishun Avenue 5. They have their own doorstep sectors to ensure that these services, despite them using the expressway, which means that their fare box recovery rate would definitely be affected because its expressway is dead mileage, these services are still able to survive. This one isn't even surviving right now! And tell you what, like, literally next time at King Albert Park, you have DTL. And then they might just tell you, like, oh, take 871, or like take 157, 174, 66, 178. Actually, 178, there's no 178 at Beauty World. You would take it at like Hume or something. But yeah. Next time, they're just gonna justify this instead. And again, the enthusiasts who are like pitching this idea again and again and again, no offense to you guys, but like, you don't realize how long this distance is. And I'm just tracing NEL. In reality, the distance is going to be much, much, much longer. Okay, not much longer, but you get the idea. I'm just tracing NEL. In reality, it's going to be like a few more kilometers. If there is currently no demand beyond Potong Pasir, I mean, they take NEL or they transfer to other bus services. What makes you think that when you stretch the bus service, you would magically gain demand from, like, let's say, the west of Singapore or Toa Payoh? No, you wouldn't gain demand. It's an express service. Like, tell me, who the fuck in their right mind would want to go from Jurong East to Bukit Batok all the way to Buangkok and pay express fare just to get stuck in PIE, Potong Pasir, St. Andrews, Upper Serangoon Road, and the Viaduct and Kodan? Who in the right mind would do this when there is literally cross-island line? In future, but you get the idea. In fact, I would even say taking 165 from Clementi is like way more worth it. Or if you want to be slow, okay, I don't recommend taking 156 because it actually goes through Whitley, PIE, Thompson, and down here. 165 is actually much faster. It's like, it uses Ulu Pandan and Holland, which isn't as jam prone. I think 165 is a better like west to northeast link. I would rather you introduce like some form of like 165E or something. I mean, carefully. Not that it's gonna clone the 165 route, but something more useful. Like maybe going Marymount or something. 74E failed, so why not try 165E this time and actually make it unique? Not just that. Oh my god. Sometimes MRT can cause bus services to be rationalized. That's normal. Not that I agree with it. Sometimes other bus services can rationalize each other when they duplicate. Like for example, obviously, this thing, okay, I just want to point out, this thing is not part of DTL rationalization. I have like said this many times. If you still don't get this inside your head, you're just dumb. I've already mentioned, I don't want to repeat this again. This thing, yes, branded under DTL rationalization, unlike 506, this one is actually DTL rationalization. But it's not only DTL. Today, you have 67 from Beauty World to Little India Station, and then to Serangoon Road, and Bendemeer Road. Okay, technically that's not correct. I need to say Jalan Besar. I'm sorry. At Serangoon Road and Jalan Besar, I don't know, like, I feel people are like ignoring this fact. 67に乗って65に乗り換えてその通りだ。I don't know, how simple do I have to make it? I got dumb fucks saying that I want 66 to be not
rationalized because I hate cars and I want my bus services to be empty. I want the bus drivers to suffer driving 2 hours and 30 minutes along driving long durations because I want an emptier bus.
The same idiots who try to keep 132. You literally have this. You literally have this. This and this effectively replaces 66 deleted sector. It's not just the effect of MRT. Even bus services can cause existing bus services to be not so useful. Fine. In case you guys are like deluded beyond belief, I'm just gonna list down this thing again. I don't even remember like. Now there is actually a reason to keep this one. This one, no, because if you keep 501, you cannot keep 511, and 512 it's like maybe not. This thing runs single deckers, so obviously it didn't have much demand in the past. Although I agree, this thing shouldn't have been rationalized in the first place, along with this thing. I'm sorry, I need to look at what the fuck you guys have been saying again. Okay. Back to... I was like, what other services? Now this one, it's hard to justify already because both of them already serve Bayfront. Although if you want to bring out... if you want to revive the old version of 502, providing you have enough funds, then I'm like... and you can guarantee that there will be people actually taking, despite it being express fare. Or if you want to introduce a long distance truck service, and you're confident that it'll get demand, then okay, so be it. But these two, it's hard to change. And I don't know which fucking dumbass is like saying,
I want 111 to go to like Hougang Central. I want 97 to go to Hougang Central. I want this thing to go to New Bridge Road. I want this thing to go to Shenton Way. I want this thing to go to Harbourfront.
well, there is 65. And then in between the sector where there's... you can literally just take 107, you dumbass. Just transfer buses. Okay. There is no reason for like this old service to be kept anymore. I'm trying to say 865, but yeah. This thing's farebox recovery rate is like already at 20%. Around 20%. You extending this thing to Hougang Central as a local service, it'll compete with 107 and 147. And not just that. I'm sorry to say, you're overstretching it. At its current state, it's not doing good. You extending it would make it worse. So no. If you want a bus service from Bayfront to Hougang, just fucking take CDS. There's literally 672. Okay? And if you don't want to, on weekends, you don't have 672, fine, you just take 107M. It's simple. God, man. And then this thing, it is perfectly fine looping at Suntec. And I still have people saying,
I want 111 to Hougang Central at all costs. I don't want this thing to start to loop at Suntec City.
Sorry, this is how you guys sound like.
And then this thing, you bring it back to New Bridge, it's just going to duplicate 147. 147 is going to make this service obsolete.
And then this thing, currently there's 107 that can take the place of it. So I don't understand. Okay, if you want to introduce like some form of 82 semi-express that uses CTE or uses KP, okay, fine. The local sector is already replaced by 107, and then you guys are still like on your high horse saying,
I want all these services to come back because I don't think they should be rationalized by NEL.
Well, guess what? Even if it's not NEL, other local services will rationalize it, okay? You want to bring back something? Okay, bring back the Sun. The Sun, if it's semi-express, fine. Or maybe at most, bring back the Sun. Don't bring back the entire lot. It's a disruption for a reason. For 365 days, the line is working fine. So for 365 days, all the services that you brought back would be losing money, bar this one, because I think this one actually has some use. Oh my god, it's like... And you're only like, and the service is only going to be useful for 1 day when the MRT breaks down. Okay, in that case, there's already free bridging bus. And I'm not forcing you to take a free bridging bus, even though it's free. You can literally take 147, you can literally take 107, you can literally take 133 or any other like doorstep bus service, okay? No, because like when you talk about the group of kids, I have one dumb group of kids who is saying they don't want the NEL services to be rationalized, despite them literally duplicating existing trunk services. And then I have another group of dumb fucks saying that
I hate cars so much. I want all my bus rides to be empty. I want the entire Singapore to give up their cars, and I want to force everybody to take MRT and bus.
I repeat. In short, trunk bus service duplication, NEL duplication. I don't have anything else to say. Except that. Just remember what I said about farebox recovery rate. It is an express service. Nobody would want to use it for local sectors. And nobody, okay, it's like, even if it's express sectors, this thing is going to go down, down, down. And the service might as well have like a, since it, oh my God. A farebox recovery rate, it's not really time dependent or anything. I mean, well, it is. It's like an average thing. 400 gets demand when the cruise center gets arrivals because they get off their cruise ship and then they board 400. Okay, fine. Technically, it is time dependent, but FRR is average. It doesn't matter if your bus service runs only like 2 trips per day or like it runs full day. The only difference is that if it runs 2 trips, then it's like you're only losing that amount of money. Whereas if you run full day, you're losing even more money. Okay, that's applicable to this context actually. But please, you have a lot of dead sectors, you gotta take this into consideration. When you think of like, I still don't get it. Why are you guys literally overstretching routes that duplicate other trunk services and duplicate MRT? Look, if you want to talk about like the MRT redundancy bus services, okay, I can tell you this. They don't duplicate MRT completely. This one, it doesn't duplicate Circle Line completely. 851 is in between NSL and TEL. It is its own corridor. And then what else can I say about this one? 99 and 185, they don't duplicate completely. Well, there's Service 2, but then Service 2 goes Chinatown, which is where a lot of demand from Service 2 comes. And EWL has an access penalty. Sims Avenue, Geylang Road. Some services, some bus stops are just not served by MRT, so these people take Service 2. Okay. What else? Green line, red line, purple, yellow, ETL. This one doesn't completely duplicate it. There's a EWL sector as well. Because Little India, Lavender Street, Kallang, only 67, that's the unique sector. Yeah. And then 67 functions like the same thing as Service 2. Access penalty along Changi Road, Geylang Road, Sims Avenue. Not every single bus stop has immediate access to MRT. TEL 980. The reason why 980 has been chosen for a redundancy bus service and not 167, I don't count 167 because it's like 30 minutes. They choose the one that duplicates MRT less instead of the one that duplicates MRT more. What else can I say? 74. It doesn't completely duplicate Cross Island Line. JRL, well, there's only one pair of bus stops that's served by 179 at Pioneer Road North. That's the reason why 179 cannot be rationalized. Same thing for this one. The entire corridor of like Jalan Boon Lay, Jalan Bahar, they have no immediate MRT access. And that's why 199, there's a lot of industrial demand, and then there's a lot of people that's like going to the dormitories, that especially deep inside, there is no, it's not like along the main road where there is a JRL. Well, yeah. When it comes to the MRT redundancy bus services, these are services that do not duplicate the MRT completely. Because of this, they have unique demand. is not just doing the job of MRT. And that's why they can survive in those 365 days. Not when you fucking extend 506 to like Bangkok! And I don't want you guys to have any more funny ideas about,
how about let's make 506 wine again?
don't. There's already this and this. Learn how to transfer, you idiots. I'm not talking about transferring 999 times. I'm talking about like there are already existing services that you can use. Oh my god. That's all I want to say. If you still want to overstretch 506, you're deluded.